Meanwhile, the 15 Palestinian fishermen seized by the Israeli Navy off the coast of Gaza were released on Wednesday. The 3 international volunteers accompanying the fishermen, however, remain in a prison near Tel Aviv. American Darlene Wallach, Italian Vittorio Armigoni, and Scottish Andrew Munsey have arrived by boat into Gaza in late August as part of the First Free Gaza delegation. They remained in Gaza working with the International Solidarity Movement alongside Palestinian fishermen, documenting any harassment by the Israeli Navy. The 3 internationals are reportedly beginning a hunger strike today to protest their detention. They're also demanding the Israeli Navy release the Palestinian fishing boats they confiscated this week. U.S. citizen in detention Darlene Wallach joins me now from a phone inside the prison near Tel Aviv. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Darlene.
Thank you very much.
Where exactly are you being held?
It's in a men's prison, but inside the men's prison there's a compound for women, and the compound is for people who are illegally in Israel because their work visas ran out. So my question is why am I here? I was kidnapped at gunpoint by the 4th largest military in the world, and I was on a Palestinian fishing boat in Palestinian fishing waters. So it doesn't make any sense why I'm here, why I'm being held.
Explain exactly what you were doing and the scene when you were arrested.
I was on a Palestinian fishing boat that I've been on numerous times, and we accompany the Palestinian fishing boats in their waters where they have the international right to fish, so that the Israeli Navy won't shoot and kill or arrest the Palestinian fishermen. So what made it different this time is it seemed to me they were specifically targeting the internationals because they released the Palestinian fishermen to their homes. And they also confiscated the fishing boats. And the way that they arrested us was very different than how they normally arrest the fishermen. So normally they force the fishermen to strip to their underwear, jump in the water, and swim to the Israeli Navy boats. And this time they brought Zodiac boats, and the frogmen boarded each Palestinian fishing boat. And the first person taken was Andrew. I saw him being taken. And then they took the fishermen off of that boat. Then they came to the boat I was on and took me off the boat. And so I didn't know what happened to the fishermen. I was very concerned about their safety and what Israel might do to them. And I'm very, very concerned about the fishing boats because in the past what Israel does is they sink the boats or they damage the boats, like taking the engines off or steal all the equipment. So I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to the fishing boats. That's the livelihood. I mean, they said 15 fishermen. Well, there's more than just those 15 that work on each boat. So the livelihood of all those people now has been destroyed. So how many families now, and the families tend to be large, how many families now have no income and there's no employment because they have no fishing boats to go out on? It's really just disgusting, despicable, deplorable, and I want the world to speak out and tell Israel to stop.
Now, those 15 fishermen have been released. Why haven't you been released?
I guess the plans are to deport us, and my understanding is when they deport you to where you came from. Since I came from Gaza, I want to be released to Gaza. It sounds like they have no plans on doing that. I don't know why they're holding me. It seems like they violated international law in many different ways, and so I don't know. I can't answer that. But then if you try to talk to Israel, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the truth from them.
How did you get into Gaza, Darlene Wallach?
How did I get to Gaza?
Yes.
I was on the Liberty, one of the first 2 boats that went to Gaza from Cyprus. And I actually was with the Liberty on the way to Cyprus. And so it was a wonderful trip. It was a wonderful boat. It was an amazing, amazing experience. The welcome that we got in Gaza, it was just overwhelming. My emotions come up because it was thousands of people just so happy to see, at least token-wise, symbolically, the siege broken. It was the first time in 41 years that from Cyprus, a stamp on a piece of paper said a boat was leaving Cyprus for Gaza. And it was like an amazing trip. It's been amazing to be in Gaza to work in solidarity with the Palestinians. They're amazing, kind, warm, loving people. And I It's, for me, just being out on the fishing boats and the stress. I don't understand how they can go out there day after day with the stress, knowing at any time they could be killed, at any time their boats could be taken, at any time they could be arrested or shot.
Darlene Wallach, I wanted to remind our listeners and viewers about these boats, that the one of them you described, Liberty, that's challenging the blockade. We were able to reach people on the boat. In the first trip that was coming over, we spoke to the former Prime Minister of Britain's sister-in-law, Tony Blair's sister-in-law. We spoke to Jeff Halper, the Jewish Israeli who is challenging housing demolition. Mayred Maguire was on one of the trips. She is the Nobel Peace Prize winner from Ireland. These are the boats that you're describing, that, not to be confused with the fishing boats, but are challenging the blockade.
That's correct. So I want to make sure that people understand when they talk about the ceasefire, Israel has violated the ceasefire from day one. Before it even was created, they were violating it. The ceasefire supposedly was going to lift the blockade and allow goods and services and food and fuel and that kind of thing, and Israel's never lifted that blockade. Israel has violated the ceasefire every day by, when the fishermen go out to fish, Israel Navy comes and shoots at the boat. They use high-pressure water power. They have a water cannon that they shoot at the boat that damages the boat, injures people. They've cut the cables. Fishermen has lost their fishing nets. On a daily basis, the farmers who try to go out and farm their fields get attacked. So Israel created this buffer zone, 300 to 500 meters wide, along the whole length of the Gaza Strip. And that was done around May 1st. And that it was a desert area, that whole area where they demolished all kinds of crops, homes, wells, and then the crops, it was like citrus, dates, olives, any kind of crop they had, it was all demolished. And farmers now are trying to go back out and start, planting their fields and harvest, being able to harvest their fields. And we've been accompanying them, and even just standing out there in the fields where it's just farmers. Obviously, no one with any kind of military, no militants, just farmers, just people trying to tend their fields. The Israeli military comes by in their jeeps and gets out and starts shooting. So we're a presence to be a witness to that. We're a presence to make sure that people aren't killed. And when they start shooting, we're standing out in the fields with our fluorescent vests on, some of us, and we stand there until the Israeli military leaves. We don't back off. When they start shooting, we stand in the fields and having the bullets, come around us over our heads or by our feet.
Darlene Wallach, are you beginning a hunger strike today at the jail?
I actually started a hunger strike last night. I didn't eat dinner. And for me, they had someone talk with me yesterday and saying that they are not going to allow me to die. So I don't know what that means. For me, I'm still in the prison, and I still have my cell phone. Andrew Muncie was taken into isolation today, and his phone was taken from him.
I want to thank you, Darlene Wallach, for joining us, speaking